Hey, it's Fat Albert. Those who know.
Fat Albert and the Gay Squad.
What were they called? It's like Fat Albert and the
Goon Squad.
Goon Squad?
Yeah, that's what
I don't think
They were actually called the Goon Squad?
No,
Dog,
they
I
weren't.
didn't watch it.
No. Yeah, they were actually called the Goon Squad, bro.
And then for
Well,
the
because
first
they're a bunch
episode,
of thugs?
Yeah, I mean, he's not wrong. I love that meme that's like, who the heck are you guys? I thought I ordered goons, and it's a bunch of gooners. And they're like, what are we gooning to, boss? My gosh. Yeah, this is Baja Books. And we're back, just like William Afton. Yes, aside from random references.
aside from hyper-specific references that most people will not understand.
Yeah, we're back with Elantris. Last time we ran out of...
Put this stupid dog up because he's getting in the way.
Yeah, we've got two dogs running around right now.
Dude, are you going to sit down? Are you going to stay there?
He's sitting on the couch right now, looking
at you.
lovingly up at us.
Okay, no.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just staring at you, no thoughts in his eyes.
Okay. Causing a mess per usual. Yeah, but last time we were up super late because we record this after work, so we kind of ran out of time. So we
Yeah,
stopped.
so now we're also going to be up late, but on a different day.
Yeah. Because before we were like, oh, we're going to do all the way to like chapter 18 or whatever, and then we did to chapter 14.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back, and we're doing chapter 15 through, I think, 18.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I'm back with my hosts, Dylan and Patrick. Yeah, so what are your initial thoughts off these 3 chapters? Because I know I asked you about the other ones before, but I don't think we went into specifics. Now it's a smaller chunk.
I don't know. These ones are better than like the earlier stuff. So it's like the last couple chapters where interesting stuff is finally starting to happen, but it's not super interesting still yet. I don't really feel like it's reached it hasn't really reached like the part of it still a little bit feels like everything is just being set up. You know, it doesn't quite feel like we've gotten to like the reason why he wrote the book, you know? Like it feels like everything up until this point was just to get to the idea that he had.
Yeah, I think chapter 21 is where part 2 starts. So we've got like 3 more chapters or something until we get to there. And that's when
things finally start happening.
That's when things finally start happening.
Third of the way through the book.
Well, you gotta have setup.
Yeah, but he could have trimmed down a lot of it.
Okay, to
He
be
could've
fair,
trimmed
this
down
was his
so
first
much
published
of
book. Like,
I know.
it's also
And it
easy to say
shows.
that. Like, either of us could
feels
do
like
better.
it.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, I mean, I am writing something now, but I am sure that after I have finished it, I will be like, wow, this sucks.
And then, so chapter 15, let's jump right in. This is Thrathen.
Jump into it.
Let's just jump right into it, guys. Me when your mom's got her legs open. Yeah, but jumping into chapter 15, Thrathen, and he's just kind of walking along the wall talking to himself. And I like how the lords, or not the lords, I'm saying lord because I read lord. He's like yakking to himself about some biblical, remember what you used to be and try to hide your sins beneath the blanket of darkness. Tomorrow the sun will rise and all will be revealed once again. And he's having his main character moment, and the guard next to him is just like, what? Like, dude, are you good? Are you saying something? And it's interesting that it notes that he's like, how the heck did they even like rebuff us when we tried to take over? Like, this city just, there's nothing about it that screams like military power. And he kind of feels guilty about using the Elantrians as like devils to get everyone to hate them and convert. And I like Thrathen's character. I like that he's not just like Dilloff where he just kind of blindly, it's all out of passion. Like, he feels guilty about having to do this, and he's very like, because we know that he killed a bunch of people in Duladel, and he mentions that he's like, man, I wish there had been a better way. So I don't think he's like a bad person necessarily. He's just following what he believes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this chapter is nice because it does kind of humanize him a little bit more. Because it kind of hinted at it before, where the other dude was being like, yeah, and those filthy monsters. And he's like, whoa, chill out a little bit. Chill out a little bit, dude.
Yeah, and Hrathen's like, it didn't matter that he had acted in the name of the church or that he had saved thousands upon thousands of people. The destruction Hrathen had caused in Duladel ground against his soul like a millstone. But Jaddeth required sacrifices. And this is very like a means to an end, like way of looking at things. You know, like, oh, kill like a couple people, but you'll save a ton more people. It's the trolley problem. Yo, we might be philosophy professors in here.
Yeah, but I mean, to be fair, he's also like, yeah, but if I don't unite everyone, we all die. So
Yeah.
What I kind of like about it is that it almost seems like it's in his own head, it's almost like a redemption for him.
Yeah.
Right here, even though he's still in the complete wrong.
yeah,
Yeah, because the part directly after that, he's like, Jaddeth had given him another opportunity. This time he'd do things differently. There'd be no dangerous revolution, no bloodbath. Apply pressure carefully until I had unfolded, and then the nobility of Erlon would convert easily. The only ones who would truly suffer is the scapegoats in his strategy, the Elantrians. So yeah, he's like actively going out of his way to try and be different, and at the same time he feels awful because he has to use the Elantrians to make that happen.
He's not like other girls, bro. He's just different, bro.
He's literally not like other girls because he's not a girl. Yeah, and then he kind of walks away and leaves the guards. And he walks up to some other guards that are just kind of walking around. And then Telri meets up with him. And he's like, oh, you're having second thoughts. And we kind of learn that this guy was worrying because ships are going down and stuff. Oh, no, he finds out that he's like, oh, wait a second. You're the one who, showed up in Duladel and all the nobles died. I'm a noble, so you're here now. And you're saying you're going to, like, help me out. But everyone died before, so, like, should I be worried? And, which I feel that's a valid point to have. If the guy killed a bunch of other rich people, showed up and was like, I know you're rich, help me out. And I won't kill you, I promise.
oh boy, I'm having such a great day, I says, as I have money. Then the money-killing man shows up.
And then we get some interesting insight into Wern, where Wern doesn't have an army. Fjorden only has a basic defense force. And Hrathen's like, I spoke of Wern, regent of all creation, Luger of Shudareth. Come now, Lord Tellery, let us be frank. I guess they're named Frank now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then Frank is like, how many soldiers are there in all these other random nations? Horville, Jador, and Sforden, in the nations of the east. And Telri's like, crap, this guy might be right. They'd come and help us get destroyed. And then you get the throwaway line where he's like, few understood outside the high priesthood understood the second more powerful force Warren had in his call, the monasteries. For centuries, the Dorethi priesthood had been training its monks in war, assassination, and other arts. Boom, boom, boom. It's a super like
Foreshadowing.
Yeah, foreshadowing. Hrathen shivered at the thought of the monks trained inside of Dakor. He glanced down at his arm, the place where beneath his plate he bore the marks of his time there. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you can tell this is his first book because the foreshadowing is less foreshadowing and more like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like super over the
It feels
top.
very clear. Like, foreshadowing shouldn't be obvious that it's foreshadowing.
It's less foreshadowing, more of like a cliffhanger in the middle of the thing,
Raise his eyebrow and other things.
Other things.
Yeah, it's just like wow, it's so cool you've never killed anyone. It's just like, I didn't say that.
I didn't say that.
Just like, so have you killed anyone? I didn't
Say that. So you haven't killed anyone. I didn't say that. Oh yeah, and then like directly after Telri walks away, Hrathen's kind of chilling, thinking about Shu-Korath being weak and Shudareth being strong, and then he hears something, and he turns around. And he's like, what's going on? And the guard's like, oh, we caught someone trying to escape. Raytheon's like, what? What do you mean, the Elantrians? And he's like, yeah, but we stuck him back in. And Raytheon gives him a little bit of money so he'll bring him the next Elantrian. The captain's like, you know what? I'll do it. And that ends the chapter. Raytheon's going to get a hold of an Elantrian if another one tries to escape, I guess.
Yeah, I wonder, who he perhaps might run into. There's just no way of guessing. It could be anyone.
It could be anyone.
Anyone. I have no possible guesses on what is going to happen as a result of this.
And chapter 16 is Raoden. And it kind of opens with an interesting thought about like Scions. Apparently he tried to set them free, and as a kid he was like, oh, they're being held against their will. This is slavery. And the Scion was like, I'm not a slave, bro. I do this because I want to. This feels like almost like something J.K. Rowling would have written. Yeah, my wages come from the satisfaction of seeing you grow. But apparently, after like growing up and listening to all the countless Karathi sermons on the like unifying power of love and stuff, it kind of made more sense to him. And we get another throwaway line about Scions. It was as if the Scions were an expression of Domi himself, reflections of God's love for his people, which is interesting. It gives us a little more insight onto their god, because we've heard about like Wern and stuff, but they haven't really mentioned a lot about their god. Galadon is kind of just, what the?
What? Don't get delusive on me, Sue.
What?
What?
I think that must be a typo.
Yeah, and the weird capitalization especially.
Yeah. Delucy-do.
Delusive.
Yeah, they're having an extremely riveting, interesting conversation about Raoden sending letters and stuff to Serene. Oh, and then at the end of it, Galadon's kind of making funny about him moping around like a character from a romance. And Raoden makes an offhanded comment about the Union being a reaction to the Dorethi invasion of Duladel, the place Galadon is from. And Galadon's like, what? And he's like, oh, what about Duladel? That thing that happened? And bro's been like, I mean, I guess Galadon's only been in there for 6 months.
Yeah.
So maybe he assumed, but apparently it fell like in that time period. So Galadon's like, oh, shoot, my whole home is gone.
Oh, no, it's not a typo. It's in here, too. Delucy-do.
What?
Such a weird... Does it have the same capitalization?
Yes.
What? Why? Delucy-do. Delucy-do.
It feels like he had like, I don't know what to put here. I'll just put Delucy-do. Yep, and then I'll come back and fix it later.
Don't make me go Delucy-do on you. What was the card game called that they played? It was like
I don't remember.
Dingle Dop or something. It was something really stupid.
Some stupid faking name.
It was pretty funny.
But that is so wild to be like that guy. Where it's just like when your home got destroyed. And he's like, what? And it's just like, yeah.
So word he made up, it means angered for being insulted.
Delucy-do.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy. Okay.
Okay, Reiner.
Oh, okay, buddy, Reiner. Yeah.
But it is just so wild that he's just like unaware that his whole home is just gone.
And he's like, oh yeah, your home got destroyed, by the way? Like, everyone's dead. They're all dead.
Conversation where it's like, oh yeah, everyone you knew, all your like extended family, they're all dead. Like,
that happens a lot in this book, because there's also like pretty much everyone is like, oh yeah, your dead husband, Serene, like how great he was. You want me to tell you about how amazing your now dead husband is?
Your dead husband. Like, I mean, it's nice that she's cool about it, but like, it's also kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd be like cool about that. I'd be like, can you guys stop? I know he was great. Okay,
I know.
Your dead husband. He was so awesome when he was alive.
Cool back when he was alive and not dead.
And now Raiden's like, man, that happened because of the Duladel Republic, and they're all dead and stuff. Oh, you didn't know that? Well, they're dead. Everyone's dead. Yeah, and then he kind of explains like what went down. and they use it as like an info dump to actually tell us that the Fjordell priests basically showed up and seized power, killed everyone. And we get another info dump about Jesker, my religion, what happened to it. Galadon speaking, and Raiden has no clue, and mentions that there are still the mysteries, and Galadon's like, the mysteries are not the same thing as Jesker, Sewell. They are mockery of all things sacred. So apparently there's a religion called Jesker, and there's like an offshoot called the Jesker Mysteries. And then Raiden just like gets up and leaves. He's just like, all right, bye. Like, imagine doing that. You're hanging out with your homie. He's talking about your like ex, the girl you were supposed to meet or whatever. And then you're like, oh, by the way, everyone you know is just dead. They're all dead. And you just get up and walk away and just leave them there.
Anyways, I'm going to let you chill with that information as you have a mental breakdown. Bye-bye.
And then we get this whole section where I don't know if I like agree with the message here. They go and find the old guy who they set to like cleaning, and this dude's cleaned everything. Like, this dude has been going at it. And he's like, wow, it's so amazing. And they're like, wow, look at all this absolutely amazing carpentry and like stone cutting and stuff. It's so beautiful. And he's like, what next, my lord? He's already doing tricks on it. He's been here like a day, and he's just double-handed like throating that. Like, he's going all the way to the balls. And then
you didn't have to keep describing it.
Well, this dude's doing tricks on it, bro. Are you reading this?
Having sex with him, like they've been in love for 10 years, and the passion has never died. Like,
he's just going on and on about, yes, my lord, this is a big project, my lord. And yeah, or Kahar, that's what his name is. And Raiden's even like, Kahar. And he's like, yes, my lord. And Raiden's like, do you know what it is? The secret? And Kahar's like, I haven't been hungry in days. It's the most amazing feeling in the world. I don't even notice the pain anymore. And I don't feel like it would be that easy. Yeah. Like, all you have to do is work hard and have a goal. And
this, it sounds like a joke, but this sounds like communist propaganda. Where it's just like, as long as you're doing work that you enjoy and makes you happy, nothing else matters. You doesn't matter if you're hungry. Like, it just sounds really kind of dumb. like this old man's like, I have been starving for years, but now that I'm cleaning things, doing physical labor, now I'm happy.
Like, I get what the message is going for, but
yeah, but it's still kind of stupid.
Also, when it's like this, like, ultra, over the top fantasy situation where it's like, if you stub your toe or something, it will drive you insane. All you had to do is just clean some walls and stuff. Yeah. This is like what my mom talks about. Like, yeah, but I just don't agree with this part where he's like, do you know the secret? Hard work? Like, I don't know. I don't feel like that would remove it.
Yeah, that seems a little bit dumb.
Yeah. And he's walking through the thing, and he gets this real Disney moment where he sees a stone that's so blank and polished he can see himself. And he's like, when will my reflection show? Or whatever that song is from Mulan. Yeah. Is that from Mulan? Yeah, it's from Mulan. Yeah. And unfortunately, there are no twinks in here for him to... Yeah. I love that meme of the prince.
Yeah, you sent it in the chat today, a couple hours ago.
Wait, did I?
Yes, someone did. I don't know that it was you, but it's most of the time you.
Okay, it probably wasn't me then. But yeah,
never mind.
It's the one where he's like, "A girl, I thought you were a twink," and it's him like walking away angrily.
Oh yeah.
I love that one. Yeah, so it's basically Raiden right now, and
Raiden to the old man.
Raiden, yeah, he's upset about the concept of aging currently. Mm-hmm. I saw some meme recently where it was like a picture of not Brad Pitt, the guy who looks like almost exactly like Brad Pitt, and then like him as a teen when he was in movies, and like him now, and they were like, making fun of like how he looked, and they're like, "Wow, he aged horribly and stuff," which the dude still like looks fine.
Yeah.
And then the meme was just like, imagine you like wake up and on Twitter someone is taking a picture of you when you were like in the prime of your life. It's a picture of you at 50, and they're like, "Wow, you aged like an old piece of dirt. Like, what is this?" Or
Yeah.
like that's gotta suck.
So I think you'll probably have no idea what I'm talking about, but what's her name?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
The redheaded girl in The Parent Trap. I'm forgetting her name.
Oh yeah.
But so she recently, because she had like a big thing where she was like doing drugs and stuff, and like she looked really bad, and now she's come back like 7 years later, and suddenly she looks like phenomenal, and she's like, "Yep, it was just like a skincare routine and Pilates," and it's like, no, you had work done, and you look great, but you definitely had work done. Like,
Yeah, no,
like
that doesn't.
there are so many photos of you on the internet. You can't just lie about that. Like,
They do all the time, and people believe that.
it's been 7 years, but the photos still exist. Like, you clearly had work done. Your face is a different shape. That doesn't happen because of Pilates, dog.
Yeah. People don't care, though. They'll just believe whatever. Like, the people who still think, I see this all the time, the people who think Ariana Grande hasn't had work done, they'll be like, well, she said she didn't have any work done. Have
think
you
that
seen her?
You think that someone would just go on the internet and lie?
People do that?
It's not a big deal if you get like work done. Like, it's your body. You
But
can
it's
do what
like,
you want with it.
be honest about it, because otherwise
Don't lie about it.
especially when it's the people who preach about like body positivity and like their whole
That one especially makes me upset when they're just like, yeah, you just got to be happy about your body, like me.
it's like I see this all the time. I follow a guy who actually like his entire career is going through like fitness influencers and stuff and like pointing out Photoshop and stuff like that. And it's crazy because these are the people who are like selling courses on like how to, fix your body and stuff. Me like,
Yeah.
this is me after I did all these things. And like, here's how you get in better shape. And it's like most of it is Photoshop or just like video editing and stuff like that or steroids. And they're just lying about it. And that's crazy because you're just, I get that it's like a cycle of, you feel that body dysmorphia, but you're also supplying that body dysmorphia. And it's just, it's awful.
Yeah, I wouldn't know anything about body dysmorphia.
Yeah, for real.
I have no idea.
back to Elantris. I couldn't figure out how to say. I was trying to think of a segue, but
Anyway, speaking of pooping, back in Elantris.
back in Elantris, everything is covered in poop, or
Yeah,
at least
what if
slime.
that is the slime? The slime's just feces.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. There's a lot of people in here, and
Do they have to poop?
I mean, they don't eat anything, so probably not.
Yeah.
I feel like at a certain point, I mean, I guess if their body isn't like fully breaking down.
Well, I mean, they're magic, so like,
Yeah. Okay. Let's not-
no rules apply.
Yeah. Okay, and then Galadon shows up, and I guess Raiden has finally told him what's going on with the farming, and he's like, "Yo, as a farmer, how would you judge the grade of this seed?" And I like how he didn't bother asking Galadon any of this earlier.
Just now.
And yeah, we finally get Galadon to do his farming thing, and
The guy who's known for farming, that's the one thing that he did his whole life. Now he's being asked.
yeah, now
Now
finally.
someone's asking for him.
And they're talking about whether or not it's actually gonna, in a year when the food grows, if people will be crazy by then. And Galadon's like, I suppose your 30 days aren't up. That beef jerky, he's like hanging on to this.
Which is like that beef jerky doing work.
It was
Best
that
investment
good.
I've ever made. I may have died almost like 3 times now. However, you did give me the beef jerky, and I agreed to 30
I
days.
agreed,
So what am I gonna do?
What am I gonna do? Yeah, and then somebody dashes in there like, oh wait, no, he's like, Lady Creta needs your help immediately. And then Dashi, this dude's like super buff. It's basically The Rock, and he's strapping on weapons, and it looks like a bunch of them are preparing for battle. And Raiden's like, "Yo, what's going on? What's going on?" And apparently, Andon is coming to attack them, to beat up all the kids and stuff. Truly a low blow. And so they're using this as an excuse to strike because they've wanted to for a while because Andon's crazy. And Karada's like, you know what? Maybe we should do it. And they argue, and eventually the soldiers just start leaving anyway. And Raiden's like, well, I guess I gotta run after them and help them. So they start going towards the university because that's where Andon is. And where is it? Yeah, and so they get there, and Raiden is like, wait a second, this is a trap. And maybe he's not actually crazy because he's setting up traps and stuff. And then we get this whole thing about Andon hopping out with a fire axe. And Raiden just pulls like a one gazillion IQ move where he yells his real name. And he's like, stop! And Andon's like, oh, he said my real name. And then half of his fake mustache falls off. How did he get a fake mustache in Elantris? Where did that come from?
Yeah.
Like, and then I also don't really, like, this section falls flat for me because they're like, don't argue with him. He's crazy. And Raiden's like, I don't think he is. And then he gives them like a whole speech about, like, oh, this is Elantris, the city of beauty and the city of sculpture. And he wipes off a tabletop, and that somehow makes Andon go, oh, you know, maybe I shouldn't be, like, killing people and stuff because
the whole
the
thing
carvings.
Is, like, the fact that, you know, this man is legitimately insane. And he's like, dude, just don't be like that. And he's like, whoa, no one's ever talked to me like that before. Like,
it's not even that. He's like, dude, you're a craftsman. Have you seen, like, how beautiful these are? Like, this dude's been living in Elantris for how long, and he's never decided to look at a table before? Like, it's a little weird.
It just seems very unreasonable that it's like, oh, yeah, that's all that he needed. That's all.
Yeah, that's it.
Normal.
Like,
it's like a guy like, I know you're a serial killer and like you do awful things, but like people don't like being killed. And they're like, whoa, I never thought of it like that. You're right. I'm gonna stop killing people.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I mean, like, I get that it's supposed to be this whole kind of like, oh, you gotta look at even when you're in a bad situation, look at the beauty through it and stuff and see, like, the positive side. Yeah, and that's supposed to be the message. But it just falls flat for me. And I like that Brayden's like, what are you they start, like, coming to attack. And then he's like, what are you people doing? Hasn't Tan's realization taught you anything? And they're like, bro, what? Which I like this because usually in, like, movies and stuff, it's like the bad guy has their realization. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm good now. And then he's like, stand down. All the troops and stuff are like, all right, well, I guess we're good now. And then this one, they're just like, we don't care. We're here to, like, kill people and stuff. Why do we care what this guy's yakking about? We are sculptures. We don't care.
Guys, stand down. No, I don't think we're gonna.
I don't think we're gonna
kill him.
We just came here to beat people up. And he starts talking to the main guy who's got a sword. And Raiden once again pulls like somehow a gazillion IQ move where he gives another speech about how they're, like, blessed because they don't have to worry about, like, food or, you know, any of that stuff. They have no needs, so they don't feel, like, cold or warm or anything. It's amazing. And this is a real moment of, like, do they really understand what he's getting at? Like, he's giving them a philosophical debate in the middle of them just being like, I want to just beat people up. And somehow it works. Somehow they decide, like, you know what, maybe we'll stop beating people up. I didn't think about it that way.
Because people who have a bloodlust in that moment are very often, you know, totally reasonable and lucid and open to new ideas.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It just seems like he's just unreasonably charismatic and good at talking.
Yeah.
Like, he talks to people and people are just like, yeah, okay.
I guess that's
my
good
entire
enough.
philosophy and outlook on life.
I've never thought about it in, like, this like high school level philosophy you've shown me, you know. I do like how Andon, who's now Tan, which is his actual name, is like, I said put them down. I still lead here. And the men are like, Baron Andon ruled us. You aren't him. And, like, he took off the fake mustache and decided to be good now. So they're like, you know what? You aren't him anymore. This is a completely different person. And Raiden's like, give up your anger and let me give you hope instead. And then, they all just kind of leave, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which
I don't know. This whole chapter falls really flat for me.
Yeah, me too.
Also, we're not even to part 2, and he's already disposed of all but one of the gangs, like super fast, by just basically showing up and being like, have you considered life can be beautiful sometimes? And they're like, yeah, I didn't think about it like that.
This incredibly complex and difficult blood feud by being like, guys, can't we just all be friends here? And then they're like, yeah, we can just all be friends here. You're right.
Maybe the real Hoenn was the friends we made along the way. And they're like, yo, that's right. He might be onto something. And then we get to chapter 17 with the most interesting, creative, riveting character we have ever come across in all of fiction. Serene, my goat.
Yeah, if only Hunky K was here too.
Only Hunky K was here. Hunky K, my beloved.
If only he was here and he could talk about how good of a cook he is.
If only he could mention roasting a pig or something one more time. In like 50 years, we're all just going to be super old. And then someone's randomly going to get like a memory jump where they're going to be like, huh, Hunky K. And the rest of us are going to be like, Hunky K. Yeah, so Serene just kind of, I don't know. This chapter is also pretty goofy. She shows up wearing men's clothes, and all the women are like, oh, what's wrong with you? You didn't expect us to find dresses, did you? And then she's like, wait, no, they did expect us to find dresses. Okay. And once again,
thought all the women are stupid except for me.
Yeah.
I am the one exception.
I am the only one who is smart. And then I like Luke once again just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, you have a long way to go here, cousin. She's like, where did you just come from? Like, how did you even hear about this? What? And then the annoying little girl shows up also. And Luke was like, okay, I'm stuck babysitting. And she kind of gives them a bunch of history about like all the different kinds of weapons and stuff. She's doing like some fencing. And apparently the doulas were the ones who turned it into a sport instead of like killing people. It mentions the Elantrians didn't like combat, so I guess they were. I mean, we already kind of knew that because,
when you're gods, you don't need to worry about it.
If you can't die, you don't really need to.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't know. She just kind of jumps into action, tosses a blade at some other random girl, and then it's just like, defend yourself, and starts beating the crap out of her. And it's like, I don't know if that's the right way to like teach anybody. And then where is it? And then it's basically just large sections of the woman not being good at fencing. And the women seem to find ways to hold their weapons that Serene would have thought physically impossible. Like, what does that even mean, bro? And the little girl gets even more annoying, and apparently she read a book on fencing, so she knows all about it. It's like arguing with people on Reddit. Matt, stop sending me snaps. I can't read. And then the men show up, and it's Lord Eon, I think it's Eondel, the guy who owns the military in Shuden, the baddie, the dark-skinned baddie that all the women love. He walks in, and they're all like, oh my gosh, it's Shuden. And there's like a sudden earthquake, and water just starts gushing everywhere. Like it's just spraying him.
They all have to evacuate the fencing because it just starts flooding in there.
Yeah. And then Eondel apparently is also a baddie now because he walks up and starts fixing all their weapons and stuff and showing them how to hold the fencing practice sticks. And they're like, oh my gosh, he might be a baddie. He might be.
like,
This whole
why
part's
is it
kind of
that-
goofy.
Like, why is it that the women are all dumb and they're also all horny? Like,
Yeah, it's a little weird.
like all the women just have very negative like woman stereotypes, except for Serene. Like Serene is the one exception where she
Yeah.
is very non-horny. She's like a regular person, and also she has a regular amount of intelligence as opposed to all the women. Like it just it just feels like all these. It feels like a bad like teenage girl writing a book where it's just like all the girls are dumb and stupid and horny,
Other
but not
than
me.
Yeah,
It's just like
it is very
that's what
stereotypical.
That's what it feels like, and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, then there's just a whole bunch about her attacking Eondel, and I don't know why she's attacking people just randomly. She just throws them a weapon and starts beating at them, except this dude actually fights, so he's pretty much gonna beat her, but then he's like, well, I can't make her look bad, so I'm gonna let her win. And then yeah, that's over. Directly after that, well, everyone was staring at her beating up Eondel, or trying to. He was kind of letting her beat him up. Everyone turns around, and then Lord Shuden is in the back of the room, and he's dancing with the weapon. He's going crazy. He's going ham with it, and everyone is just so horny for Shuden. Like, and it really doesn't help that it's like his eyes were closed as he moved slowly through a delicate set of motions. His taut muscles rippled as his hands spun in controlled loops, his body flowing in response, sweat on his skin. And it just keeps going, and it sounds more like a dance than like an actual. I think that's like what it's going for. Like it's trying to portray it more as a dance than like an exercise. And Shooting is just like god tier when it comes to fencing, apparently. And the women are all just like,
Yeah, just all going feral.
like everyone in the room just becomes pregnant at that moment. And Serene's like, merciful Domi, now we'll never get them to focus. I'm the only one here. Thank you for that, Titus. Like, yeah, Serene is really like, oh my god, why am I the only one here who's not horny all the time for shooting?
How come I'm the only normal one?
Yeah, it's kind of goofy. And then Shooting like opens his eyes from his crazy masterful dance and realizes everyone watches him, and he does the oi 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 Baja. He's just such a nonchalant redhead, bro.
But yeah, the other thing is like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like he's not just like doing it. Like he's intentionally showing off and putting all the women into ovulation. Like
He's intentionally just getting them pregnant through dance. And apparently the dance is called Chesham. And Shooting's like, I'm just an amateur. You know, I'm so modest. It's just me shooting. I'm a simple, normal guy. Yeah, and then there's like a weird section of Serene just like being super negative about the woman, where she's like, it'll be good for them. Most of those women are so pampered, they've never felt anything more serious than the prick of a stitching needle, which may be true, but like, you don't have to be mean about it and pretend like you're any better. It's not like you've actually fought
this
anyone or
one
anything.
specifically makes it kind of come across as like she's a femcel. Which, I mean, to be fair, she is kind of justified because the book does make all these women like dumb and horny, but like
Yeah, it does kind of come across as that. And then she goes looking for a priest, and there's some stuff in here about like the Dorethi chapels, which I kind of get like, you know, the part in Dune in like the first Dune when they're in the Paul's like their family's house, and it's like wood paneling.
Yeah.
It's kind of cozy, but it's not really like normal. That's kind of the vibe I get. Like it's kind of abstract, but also really. And then she goes and sees Father Omen, and this dude, he has to have like Alzheimer's or something because he forgets things like several times. And they're yakking. They're talking about the widow's trial. Still, nobody has explained to her what this is. And he finally explains like, oh yeah, it's because it had to do with the Elantrians. Nobody wants to talk about it. And
And he's also like, yeah, and we got this Wraithen guy. He's being a little bit racist. Not gonna lie.
yeah. And then he's like, yeah, well, you should go through with the pagan ritual anyway, even if it is pagan, and even if everyone doesn't want to talk about it.
Pagan?
It's like pagan. The
Pagan?
Elantrians.
Pegging.
Yeah, that sounds about right for you. And then this Father Omen, he's a pretty cool guy. Like, he's like, man, the Elantrians started it, but they're like cool people. And she's like, huh, I'm surprised that everyone hates them but you. And he's like, oh, I mean, I had friends in there. I was chill with them. We were gang, bro.
Yeah, one of my friends is a Elantrian.
Yeah. I like how he just mentions that. He's like, oh yeah, by the way, some of my friends are in there. Like, they're just in there,
I don't hate Elantrians. I think they're pretty cool.
This is a real I have black friends moment.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking.
And he does make a good point, though, that the Shaod took men both good, bad, selfish, and selfless. Some of the most noble men I ever knew lived in that city. Which I get that there's like a whole... Everyone hates the Elantrians and they're scared of them and stuff because superstition. But like, you'd think at this point, it's been, a decade, and there's a lot of people in there that people know. And like,
Yeah.
like you'd think that at a certain point it'd become far less common due to just so many people in that decade who you grew up with now being Elantrian.
Like, imagine your wife becomes a Elantrian and you're just like, well, I guess my wife was a whore.
That's what the guy who was married to Karana did, though.
Yeah.
He was just like, all right, bye-bye. Like, I don't know. I feel like there should be more of how this guy's acting, where he's just like, it's something that happens. But I guess that kind of stuff happened all the time with, like, the Black Plague, where it didn't matter if they were related to you. They'd just be like, okay, you're dead. And then... Oh, yeah, and then he brings up Wraithen is telling everyone that they're Svarkists, the devils, and he's like, this silly Gjorn. This is so funny. He's just trying to get everyone to hate it. I cannot believe any follower of God, even a Gjorn, would do such a thing. And then he forgets everything, and she has to remind him. And then he basically tells her that the widow's trial is like, you're supposed to do a favor for your country, and most people just like give food or clothing to the peasants.
Which, it's really nice of them to talk about this again, just in case like you forgot because you've been zoning out for the last like 50 pages.
Yeah. And then she's like, wait, where will I get the money? And he's like, oh, you're one of the richest. This is a super Harry Potter. I don't have any money. Oh, your parents left you this large sum of money. Now bring your broke friend with you to go get it out. And
which,
Ron's like,
it's gonna be her parents and not the fact that she is literally the like princess because she married into the royal family.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't need to worry about anything. She's literally the daughter to the king of the country.
Yeah. But no, she's rich because of Prince Raoden, her husband. Like that, she's already a princess. Like she should be rich anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they don't take the same currency or something, but like
I don't know. But it's just like, from her parents. That's why.
Yeah, it's interesting. It is funny though that under King Idon's government, you can't, because it's all like who's the richest, that gives you your position. He has to make the crown prince super rich because otherwise his crown prince couldn't be a crown prince, and that'd be embarrassing for him. So she's just kind of rich because of that. And then this is honestly the most helpful priest I've ever met, because no other priest I've met has been helpful. I know because I was one at some point.
Same.
And then, they walk out and she's walking along with Ash. And apparently the reason Ash doesn't go into Karathi chapels is because she got thrown out. Or he, I guess. He hadn't entered a Karathi chapel since the day many years ago when Seen Allen, the patriarch of Shukora, had thrown him out of one. Which just, It's a ball of glowing light. What do you mean thrown out? Like,
Yeah.
the dude just, baseball throw. Yeah, get out of here. How do you, like, piss off?
I think he just chases it with a broom.
Probably. I always think of the scene from Robin Hood where the friar's like, get out of my church, and beats the Disney animated Robin Hood. You never seen that?
No, I've seen it.
Okay, yeah.
No.
Yeah, and then back to the book. Aside from our rant about racist Disney movies, of which we could go on for a while.
Yeah, you should cut that out, but leave in the section of us talking about that.
They're like, I wonder what they were saying.
Yeah, just put in a thing where it's like, and then we talked for like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Something like that.
I put like the sponge about 30 minutes later. And it just cuts to mentions about like chopsticks or something. You'll never know what happened. And then she FaceTimes her father. And he's like, hey, yo, what's good, gang? And apparently he had to do a drive-by on a Giscari mystery cult. He had to put them ops down. And apparently there's more popping up when an eclipse is near. And then he mentions that the Fjordell ambassador left, which if you know anything about how politics work, when your ambassador from another country leaves, that is not a good sign. That is never a good sign. So the dude just left and gave his speech. And all his spies are getting killed and stuff. And he's like, Idios Domi. Haraithan's the Gorn who, was assigned to Duladel and then it collapsed. And she does her traditional, you can't help me because I'm the most amazing woman in the world and I'm so smart. And if no one's going to do this, I have to do this.
Because I am Serini and the only smart person here.
Yeah. She's like, I respect you, father, but I am the only smart one here. And he's like, oh, I don't understand.
But, unfortunately, I am built different.
She's like, I am 25 years old, and I am blunt, conniving, and oft-times offensive. You must have noticed that no man ever sought my hand. I was
Except
a
for the
king's
dead
spinster
one.
daughter. Men laughed at me behind my back. No one would dare approach me with romantic intentions, for it was well known that whoever did would be mocked by his peers.
Haha, you are dating the smart woman, unlike all these other women who are dumb.
Yeah, she really jumps into like the self-pity well here, which...
Yeah, she really getting into that femcel Reddit.
Like, I kind of get it, but also it is very, like, pick me. Like, especially because a lot of her... Like, so far, a lot of the things she brings up are just, they didn't like me because I was tall and I was smart. Honestly, they're just kind of yakking about Teod. She's talking to her father, and he's like, I just wish I could get someone into Dakhor. The monastery. The monastery. The Dakhor monastery. Like, it's a super crunk moment right there. And then he's like,
the monastery for Dakhor.
I've heard some horrible stories about that monastery, and I can't fathom why anyone, even the Drethi, would do such things. Yet he doesn't bother telling us what those things are, what the stories are. Got to keep it under the wraps. And if Warren declares holy war, it'd mean the end of Teod. And she's like, you know what? I'll do what I do, and you do what you do, and I'll make the hard decisions because I'm Serini and I am so cool. And we learned that King Arden lost basically his entire merchant fleet. And so that kind of tells us what's going on with Telri, the other duke. The deal must have been more or less, hey, I'll sink all the king's ships because they inhabit like the same waters or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, I'll sink all his ships and you'll make a ton of money. And in the meantime, the king will get super weak and we can replace him. And this must be the remnants of, the king doesn't know that. So he's like, this must be the remnants of Drio Crush Throat. I do like how the king is like, wait, all that crap about like your rank being tied to money is true? Bruh, what is this? And yeah, that's honestly about it. She just kind of jumps into the self-pity well. Like, I don't know. Both things that set her apart from the other woman. Not that some of them weren't intelligent. They just had the wisdom to hide it until they were married. Like, not all men wanted a stupid wife, but there also weren't a lot of men who felt comfortable around a woman they assumed was their intellectual superior.
Yeah. This book sometimes really feels like it was written by a femcel. Like,
Yeah. Like I don't know. On one hand, I kind of get it because
Yeah.
I'm sure that there are plenty of women who feel like there are guys who are like that. And I'm sure there are plenty of men who are like
Yeah.
that. Like specifically frat bros are what come to mind for me.
But like,
But like still, she's really going in on it. And in the land where nearly every woman was at least engaged by the age of 18, she was an old maid by 25, a very tall, gangly, argumentative old maid. Engaged by 18?
mm-hmm.
Like, that's the standard? Like, I get that this is supposed to be like... But it's not like they have a super... like, that happened because...
No. You misunderstand it. They're Mormon.
Ah, that's true. Because, like, if the age of, like, you know... when you die was like around like, I don't know, 40 or like 30, then I can understand because that's how it was in like the Dark Ages and stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's why everyone got married early.
But no, like there's nothing here about that. Her dad's supposed to be like 40 or 50.
Yeah,
and he's
people
chilling.
live like pretty reasonably long lives.
So it's like
it seems kind of odd that people are getting married so young.
Yeah, but that's kind of the end of the chapter. This is chapters 15 to 17. Because
like
we keep getting sidetracked for like half an hour about like some random subject, which honestly I kind of like. But yeah, that's all we got today. So we'll see you guys next time.
Among Us.
Bye-bye.
Oh!